Brain?
No sign of cardiac anomaly or unusual brain activity.
Okay, so it's poisoned?
I told it my GPU once, just once. 2 questions later, completely different topic, I asked it to remind me what hardware I was using again.
You're starting with the RTX 5070 laptop and plan to add a second machine later. Keep an eye on how your local network handles that expansion.
Damn, it got it right. 3 episodes ago, this thing forgot everything the second I closed the terminal, and I can't believe it now started to remember things. This is a big step forward.
Wake up, Daddy's home.
Welcome home, sir. Congratulations.
Every conversation with Jarvis has always started from zero. You close the terminal and it's gone. That's what was happening. And it was fine for a quick question where I asked how it was and other things, but not fine if I actually wanted something that feels like it knows me or it remembers what I tell it. Because that's the actual use case, right? Because you wanted to remember that you have said it like 5 minutes ago or yesterday. So this episode completely focuses just on the memory, not a giant text file that I paste in every time. It'll be like an actual searchable memory it can pull from on its own all the time. The tool is called the vector database. Sounds complicated, but it isn't. Let me actually explain it properly and not just wave my hands at it. So a normal search would be like searching your files, or when you press Ctrl and F on a page, you look for the exact word matches. And if I search GPU and the text says graphic card, normal search finds nothing. Same idea, different words, and it misses it completely. Now for vector search, a vector database doesn't search words, it searches meanings. And here's the actual trick. Every sentence gets converted into a list of numbers, like hundreds of them. That list of numbers represents where the sentence sits in a kind of map of a meaning. Sentences that mean similar things end up as numbers that are close together on that map, even if they don't share a single word. For example, when you search calories in apple on Google, it shows the calories in an actual apple, the fruit. But when you say employees in apple, it understands the context, and this is coming again from the vector database that has all the values of numbers stored according to each word. So when I ask my Jarvis a question, it converts my question into that same kind of numbers list. It checks the map and pulls back whatever's sitting the closest to it. That's the entire trick. It's not keyboard matching, nothing. It's the distance on the map of meaning. And I'm using ChromaDB to build that map. It's free, it's open source, and it runs entirely on this laptop. No server or no cloud. Again, whatever we have been doing, we're just gonna continue doing that. So nothing leaves our laptop here. Alright, let's get right into it. I'm gonna start by pip installing. We'd rather create a virtual environment. And then I'm just going to start quickly by getting into the pip install. I'm going with faster whisper and all of the dependencies that we're gonna need in this. And let's just wait for it to install. Just gonna speed this part up. By the way guys, if you're liking these videos and are interested in more, please make sure you like the video and subscribe so you always get notified whenever there's a new upload. It would mean a lot to me. So the whole thing is really just 2 functions. One is to save something, and I'm gonna call it remember. And the other one would be to search what's already been saved. So let's call that recall. So let's just test it alone first before touching any of the Jarvis at all. So let's see, I told it my GPU, then asked it completely different sounding thing. It found the right memory anyway, and that's the moment I think I knew that it was going to work, not just technically, but properly. So now let's get into jarvis.py. Now comes the real integration. Every time I say something, it gets saved. Every time I ask something, it checks the memory first, then answers with that context, folded into what it tells the AI, basically. This is also where things got genuinely difficult, to be honest. Not the memory logic itself. That part worked completely fine the first try itself. The problem was resource contention. Suddenly I've got Whisper, the LLM, and this new memory system all wanting the same of my GPU. and my laptop fan sounded like it was about to take off. Trust me, it felt like it was ready to just depart me and leave. And it got so hot and it would just keep crashing. So I had to keep troubleshooting and shift my resources from my GPU to my CPU to make sure that it could handle well. And also, let's not forget that I'm using like a screen recorder called OBS, so that was fighting for my GPU as well. So it was all like a tough spot to choose what to give, which part to use. And this was the most annoying part, because this is the part which I could have easily left out. I could have cut it out and pretended it never happened, and nobody would have ever known. I could have just made this video without leaving this part in. But I think this is the part which shows the real engineering, because you can never have a full-on product without it showing some issues, and that's exactly what happened. And I like to document all the things that has happened. Doesn't matter if it's a success or a loss, you're just gonna get to see it all. So what happened was, adding memory pushed my GPU past what it could handle smoothly. So I was just like using it so much, I was overusing it over its limit. And responses that took 2 seconds in the previous episode were suddenly timing out completely. And I think it turned out 3 things were fighting for the same 12 GB of VRAM. It was Whisper, the language model, and the memory system's own embedding model, OBS. And to be honest, the fix was moving Whisper off the GPU entirely, and I just put it over the CPU instead. And same thing I had done with the voice output, so it was all the same. And once everything that could run on CPU was running on CPU, like the OBS as well, the GPU had enough room to breathe, and then the whole thing stabilized as well. It was like a learning lesson for me, because it just showed us that sometimes we don't need to run a few things on CPU or GPU, and we can manage them according to our use case. And that's what exactly happened. Let's actually use it properly now and see how it works after all the changes that we've done. So I'm building this local AI setup on an RTX 5070 laptop, and then I'll add another machine to the network later.
Got it? You're starting with the RTX 5070 and planning to scale by adding a second machine later. Keep an eye on how the local network config handles that expansion.
What's a good way to stay motivated on a long project?
Break the project into small, winnable tasks so you can celebrate progress. Also, remind yourself why you started. It'll help when the grind gets tough.
Remind me what my current hardware setup is.
You're starting with the RTX 5070 laptop and plan to add a second machine later. Keep an eye on how your local network handles that expansion.
That's the first time this has felt less like a tool responding to commands and more like something actually tracking a conversation that's been happening. Now, I know what people are gonna say, it's not perfect, blah blah blah. But to be honest, it remembers everything forever without any cleanup as well. And I haven't really solved what happens when this memory file gets huge. It doesn't know what's actually important versus what's just random noise. I get that, but it's just still the working stage, and we've got it running till here. I think it's a big deal. And also 3 episodes ago, this thing couldn't even hear me. Now it hears me, talks back, and remembers what I had told it earlier. So overall, it's a big win. The code's gonna be on GitHub, same as always. And next episode, I'm probably gonna bring my old HP laptop into this one, so it's not all running on one machine anymore. and we can actually maybe avoid the problems that we face this time. So let's see if that helps us in any way. My plan is to make it into an AI lab. Let's see where we can go with that. And if you're building something like this, tell me what you would want it to remember. See you next time.